a very speedy outfielder, will be the leadoff batter for the Atlanta Braves. Left-handed hitter who hit .310 last year after getting his call up from the Richmond Braves of the International League. He did not hit a home run and drove in 5 runs and did not have an especially good spring. That was of some concern to Bobby Cox, but he's hoping now that things will turn around. He's ready for Pastore. Ray Knight is shallow at third. Frank delivers. The first pitch is taken low for a ball, and the 1980 season is underway. Miller hit .083 in the spring with 3 hits and 36 times to the plate. The 1-0 delivery is taken for a strike, and the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike to Ed Miller. Jerry Royster, the second baseman on deck. He'll be followed by right fielder Gary Matthews. The Reds outfield playing Miller to hit the other way, giving him a lot of room over first and down the right field line. Here's a 1-1 pitch. He takes it downstairs, and Pastore behind at 2-1. Defensively for Cincinnati, Danny Dreesen at first, Junior Kennedy at second, Ray Knight at third, Dave Concepcion at shortstop, Foster, Collins, and Griffey from left to right in the outfield and bench catching. Miller takes a strike, and the count is level at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two and 2 on Ed Miller as he levels a bat. Pastore looking down to bench. And the break-even pitch on the way to the plate, and Miller takes strike 3, a fastball at the knees.
Marty, all fastballs to Miller. That a good fastball on the inside edge, and Frank's ball will run just a little bit, and then I would assume that's exactly what it did. It came back over that inside corner.
So Frank Pastore gets off to a good start by throwing a call third strike by Ed Miller, and now will contend with veteran second baseman Jerry Royster. Royster last year batted .273, had a good year, this former Dodger. Hit 3 homers and knocked in 51 runs. He's a right-handed batter. Knight about even with a bag and wide of the line at third base. Pitch to Royster taken in the dirt.
Marty, Royster had quite a year against the Reds last year, too. He really hit extremely well against us.
1 ball and no strikes on Jerry as waiting Gary Matthews stands in the on-deck circle. The pitch, and that swung on, and a fly ball hit back into left field. George Foster waiting, 2 out. So Frank bids to get him out in order as he goes to work on Gary Matthews. Harry Wendelstedt, our plate umpire. At first base, Frank Pulley. At second, Ed Montague. And at third, Lanny Harris. Lanny Harris was not supposed to work this series, rather Lee Wire. But we talked to Ed Montague a while ago, and he tells us that Lee is in Christ Hospital here in Cincinnati. He was very sick this morning, and Lanny Harris is taking over for Lee. And if Lee's listening, we certainly wish him well, and he'll be back in uniform Friday night. Here's a pitch to Matthews, swung on and missed. Amazing statistic Ed Montague threw at us concerning Lee Wire. The first game he has missed as an umpire in, believe it or not, 24 years. And that's a string of longevity that'll be hard to beat anywhere. Bouncing ball at third, Knight spears. Here's his throw. Side retired. The Atlanta Braves go out in order. And at the end of a half inning of baseball in the opening game of the 1980 season, the Atlanta Braves nothing, and the Reds are coming to bat. Well, one of the biggest special dates on the Reds' home schedule is coming up this Sunday afternoon here at Riverfront. It's Jacket Day. The Reds and the Braves at 2:15. It's going to be a ball game that every young boy or girl is going to want to see. Jacket Day, where every youngster 14 and under, accompanied by a separate paying adult, gets a free Reds windbreaker jacket. The jacket is bright red with the team's official emblem on the front and a salute to the 79 Western Division champs. Don't miss out. Be on hand for Jacket Day this Sunday at Riverfront. Plenty of seats available. Well, the amazing Phil Niekro, 41 years old, going as strong today as he ever has. He was 21-20 last year. 44 starts, 23 complete games to go with a .339 earned run average. And Niekro trying to pitch well enough today to allow the Braves to win an opening day ball game for the first time since 1971 when they beat the Reds here at Riverfront Stadium. Dave Collins up first for Cincinnati. Bob Horner shallow at third. Collins, one of the big surprises in 1979, batting .318. Batting left-handed as Niekro sends the first pitch in, and it's high for a ball. Phil was 2-3 against the Reds last year, and he's 25-27 lifetime. The 1-0 to the plate. Collins swings and pops it up off the third baseline. Horner and Pocaroba both over, and that ball settles back into the stands. Oh, the count even on Dave Collins, 1-1. The inner defense for Atlanta, Chris Chambliss at first, Jerry Royster at second, Luis Gomez at shortstop, the aforementioned Bob Horner at third, while in the outfield, they've got Dale Murphy in left, Ed Miller in center, Gary Matthews in right, and Biff Pocoroba catching. No score, bottom of the first inning. Dave Collins waiting on Phil Niekro's 1-1 delivery. And here it is. Swung on and missed. That knuckleball up, and Collins could not get it. 1-2. Russ Nixon, the Cincinnati third base coach, Ron Plaza at first. Reds had a string of 5 straight opening day wins snapped last year when the San Francisco Giants beat them here 11-5. Collins takes it low and off Pocoroba's mitt, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, the opening day festivities here in Cincinnati, many and varied. You could probably take 3 or 4 innings to go through all the things that evolved around the traditional National League opener here in Cincinnati. 2-2 coming to Collins. Swung on, bouncer right back to the mound. Niekro reached above his head to Spirit, and he throws on to Chris Chambliss to get Collins. 1 down. That'll bring up Ken Griffey. Of course, the Findlay Market Parade got underway at 11:30 this morning. Probably the highlight of that was the Clydesdale horses, Budweiser Clydesdale horses that appeared in the parade. And, of course, Keen Babbage, a young man we talked so much about doing spring training, making that 430-mile walk from St. Louis with the opening day baseball to Cincinnati. Griffey takes a knuckler for a strike. Keen came in and presented the ball to March of Dimes poster child Jason Edwards, who in turn threw it on to Johnny Bench. Griffey hits a hard ground ball. Royster diving up with it. Throwing from the knees. No, not in time. Well, Ken Griffey really showed something that time in talking about his questionable knee. He moved down that line.
Marty, he got there in a hurry, and just a little bit about Jerry Royster. Jerry was a doubtful starter today in the opener, and we talked to Jerry before the game, and his problem is his back, and it looked like it might have bothered him there once he got to the ball and on the diving grab, and right now he's taking a little time talking to second base umpire Frank Pulley, but I think he's all right.
He made a fine play on that ball, diving off to his left, but his throw was just a little bit late in nailing Griffey. So Kenny has a first hit by a Reds player in 1980, and that brings up Dave Concepcion with 1 out. Davey takes a knuckler on the inside edge for a strike. Concepcion, coming off of a banner year at the plate, had a career-high 16 homers and 84 RBIs to go with a .281 batting average. Infield a double play depth as Davey swings and loops one into left center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Up with the ball, Dale Murphy, as he cut it off in the gap. Griffey goes to second. The Reds are trying to stir something up here in the first inning.
Marty Davey was saying during batting practice he felt terrible. And I hope he continues.
So a Griffey infield single at second base, followed by a base hit into left center by Dave Concepcion. Biff Pocoroba goes to the mound to talk with Phil Niekro. And the hitter will be George Foster. Foster batted .302 last year, hit 30 homers, and drove in 98 runs, and that despite the fact that he missed some 40 ball games. You got to figure if this man is healthy and plays his share of games, he's going to hit a minimum of 40 home runs, and he's up there now in a run-producing situation. 2 on and 1 out. He swings and lines it over third base, down the left field line. Here comes Ken Griffey. Dale Murphy goes to the corner, having trouble. Concepcion being waved to the plate. Here comes the throw from Gomez, not in time. 2-run double for Foster, and the Reds are on the board and lead it 2-0. Cincinnati not wasting any time at all in peeling Phil Niekro. Following the hard one bouncer back to the mound from Collins, 3 straight hits and a big blow, a 2-run double for Foster.
Marty, Dale Murphy looking out in the corner there, and we've watched many an outfielder have problems. The ball getting by the outfielder, and that's exactly what happened to Dale. But Bobby Cox has said he's a fine outfielder for just starting.
Danny Dreesen up there now, and he takes it down and in for a ball. Well, it's going to be a sometimes painful process for Dale Murphy, learning the intricacies of the left fields in the National League. There's ball 2 to Dreesen, 2-0 the count as Foster stands out at second base with a 2-run double. Base hit now would make it a 3-0 count. Dreesen takes ball 3, and Phil Niekro having problems in the first inning.
Sun's out.
Let's hope it stays out.
Sun's in.
Let's see if they turn Dreesen loose. He swings and pulls it foul at first. 3-1 on Danny Dreesen as Phil Niekro gets a new baseball from plate umpire Harry Wendelstedt. Johnny Bench on deck. The outfield playing Dreesen to pull. Niekro looks in for the sign, still looking now, stretches and delivers, and Dreesen takes ball 4. The Reds with 2 on, 1 out, and 2 in, and Bench steps to the plate. Do you know?
I don't know.
Might as well get it on right now. Name for me the man who played for both the Red Sox and the Reds in the 1975 World Series.
The Red Sox and the Reds.
Played for both teams in the 1975 World Series.
Bernie Carbo.
Here's Johnny Bench, and the pitch to him is swung on and missed. Organist Ad Lovejoy.
Oh, Jesus.
He played for both the Reds and the Red Sox in the 75 World Series, the Reds and the Yankees in the 76.
I didn't see him in Fenway Park.
He did here. Played for both teams right here. Here's a hard ground ball off the glove of Horner. Rolling into and beyond the Atlanta bullpen. Foster scores. Dreesen to third. Play at second on Bench. Not in time. A double, an RBI, and it's 3-0.
I hope you don't have to dip any deeper than that.
I'll tell you what. I promise you I won't trick you with any more stumper or any more do-you-knows like that the rest of the year.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's bad, isn't it?
That's terrible.
Right now, Bobby Cox has gone to the mound to talk with his battery. As the Reds have come out smoking here in the first inning, an infield hit by Griffey, a base hit by Concepcion, a 2-run double by Foster, a base on balls to Dreesen, and a run-scoring double by Johnny Bench, and only 1 out for Ray Knight. Ray, another man who had a banner 79 season, hitting .318 and with first base open, and they're going to put him on base. I'm sure the Braves, don't forget in 1 year, Ray Knight really picked on Atlanta pitching last season. And they're going to walk him to load the bases and take their chances with second baseman Junior Kennedy, who will become the 8th man to bat in the inning. It looks like Atlanta will start to get its bullpen busy. And it'll be Rick Camp, a right-hander, who will start now to throw for Atlanta as Ray Knight gets the intentional walk and Junior Kennedy is at the plate. So Niekro, with 1 out, has already allowed 3 runs home, and the Reds have Dreesen at third, Bench at second, and Knight at first. Here's a pitch to Kennedy, and he takes it high, ball 1. Pitcher Frank Pastore on deck. Kennedy bounces one toward third. Backhanded behind the bag. Horner steps on third. Throws to first and threw it away. Off the glove of Chambliss, but he recovers in time. A run scores. Now they've got Ray Knight hung up at third base, or between second and third, but he is able to get back to second base in time. So they get a force out at third, but a run scores. It's now 4-0 with 2 out.
Well, Marty, I think a little mix-up by Ray. He saw Johnny getting up, John sliding into third, and he saw him getting up, and I think Ray might have thought that he was safe at third and almost hung himself out to dry.
That'll go down as a fielder's choice. A force out at third on Johnny Bench, 5 unassisted. Run batted in for Junior Kennedy. And now Frank Pastore with runners at first and second and 2 men out. He grounds one off the glove of the pitcher, picked up by Royster at second. He throws on to Chambliss in time, and that ends the inning. But the Reds get 4 runs on 4 base hits. No errors and 2 men left on. And after 1 complete inning of baseball, it's the Reds 4, the Braves nothing.
Reds leading it 8-0. Griffey at first, Pastore at second. The 0-2 pitch taken just low, and it goes a ball, 2 strikes to Dave. George Foster waiting on deck, and George has driven in half of the Reds' runs. A 2-run double in the first, 2-run homer in the second. Camp sets and delivers. Concepcion reaches a ground ball. Royster, he tags Griffey on to Chambliss, and the double play is completed. It goes 4-3 with Griffey being tagged out by Jerry Royster, who fielded the ground balls in the inning for the Reds. They got 2 runs on 2 hits. There were 2 Atlanta errors, 1 runner left on base, and at the end of 3, it's Cincinnati 8, Atlanta nothing.
Well, Foster, the RBI leader in the National League. Right now, Bradford, first he got a new baseball from plate umpire Harry Wendelstedt. Now apparently wants to talk with catcher Biff Pocoroba. That meeting breaking up. Reds have been out 1, 2, 3 only one time in the game. That was the 4th when Rick Camp was on the mound. Now the pitch from Bradford to Foster, fastball in the dirt. Foster with a check swing soft liner that falls down in the Cincinnati bullpen, down beyond the dugout. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bradford winds, kicks, and fires. Foster takes it up and in. 2-1. Left-hander goes to the rising bag. The pitch. Foster tops one along the third baseline. That's a foul ball. Bradford really coming off the mound quickly to scoop it up. Momentum takes him to foul territory, and it's 2-2. Friday night, 8:05 start. We'll be on the air with the pregame shows on most of these same stations beginning at 7:35. And then it'll be Mike Lacasse and left-hander Larry McWilliams in Game 2. The Saturday and Sunday games will be afternoon affairs. Sunday Jacket Day. 2-2 on George Foster with 2 outs. Bradford wants another baseball. Pocoroba sends out the sign. Bradford sends in the pitch. Foster lines one hard into right field, base hit. So George has his 3rd hit of the game. The Reds enjoy a 9-hit afternoon as the 6th inning continues for Dan Driessen. Danny has walked and scored, walked again, and fly to center. Here's a pitch. Driessen takes a breaking ball. 0-1. Foster short lead at first. Bradford eyes him, comes back to the plate. Driessen looks at a fastball for strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to the Reds' first baseman, who last year batted .250, but hammered 18 home runs and drove in 75 runs. The 1-1 pitch. Here it is. Check swing. It's 2 low, ball 2. 2-1. Bradford trying to make Driessen the final out of the 6. Danny fouls it back, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. We are beginning to get a very, very light drizzle here. It's been overcast all day long, but no wetness up until just a moment or so ago. Again, the 2-2 pitch. Driessen takes it low and away. Full count on Danny. Well, Chambliss, who is playing close to the bag, now goes into a deep position at first. Foster will be on the move on this next pitch to Danny Driessen. And it's on the way. Driessen swings and hits it down the left field line, but hooking foul and out of play. Well, it's this ball game today, this opening game, a new experience for a number of Reds players. First openers for pitcher Charlie Leibrandt, infielder Ron Oster, outfielders Hector Cruz and Sam Mejias, and of course infielder Harry Spillman, who came up with a big club last year after the season started. Bradford checks off on the mound after coming set. And again, the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out to end the inning. For the Reds in the sixth, no runs with a hit, no errors with one left. We have completed 6, and it's Cincinnati over Atlanta, 8-0. Boggs with 2 out, and Foster swings and misses on an off-speed pitch. And we mentioned it earlier today, and I don't know how many hitters you can make the statement on in Major League Baseball, and that is if they play without injury, in at the knees for a call strike, you can expect a minimum of 40 home runs from him. And there are not too many around when you think about it you can make that statement on. He has already hit one out of here today. The 0-2 pitch. He strikes out swinging. And Tommy Boggs has set the Reds down in order in the 8th inning. Going to the 9th, Cincinnati 9, Atlanta 0. He has retired 13 batters in a row. He has allowed 3 singles to the Atlanta attack. Hits by Horner and Chambliss in the 2nd, and a 2-out base hit by Chambliss in the 4th, and that has been the extent of it. He'll face the top of the order in Ed Miller, who has struck out and bounced out twice. The pitch to him swung on, ground ball 2nd. That should be out number 1. Kennedy Dreesen, 1 away. First pitch hitting, Eddie Miller bounces out to 2nd, and the batter very quickly will be second baseman Jerry Royster. Royster is flying to left, line to left, and sandwiched in between. He was out on a call 3rd strike in the 3rd inning. Don't forget to stay tuned after the ball game on most of these same stations. Joe Nuxall with the Star of the Game show. I'll return with scores and comments. 51,774 here today. 51,774. The pitch is over. Strike call on Royster. That's strike 2 call. He has been brilliant, I'll tell you. This kid pitches this way for the most part in 1980. You are looking at a big winner for this Cincinnati ball club. No balls and 2 strikes on Jerry Royster. He brings it on up there to him and strikes him out swinging with a breaking ball. Strikeout number 5 for Frank Pastore, and with 2 out, the Atlanta batter will be right fielder Gary Matthews. Frank has struck out 5, has not walked a batter, and I don't believe he's been a 3-ball count on but 1, maybe 2 hitters the entire game. Matthews is 0 for 3 with a ground out and 2 fly balls, 1 to right and 1 to left. Al Raboski throwing in the Braves bullpen, but that's academic at this point. He delivers to Matthews, swung on and popped foul and out of play to the right. Quite a difference from opening day in 1979. The pitching and the hitting is, well, they've just been super in this one. No balls and a strike on Gary Matthews. Pastore pitches, and Matthews hits a very high fly ball to right field. That should do it. Ken Griffey settles under it, and this one belongs to the Reds. Frank Pastore has done a remarkable job today, as in the opening game of the year, he blanks the Atlanta Braves on 3 hits. The Reds offense does the job as Cincinnati wins it by a final score of 9-0. Pastore finishing in a flourish by retiring the last 16 in order. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment. Big day for the Reds. It was a bad day at Black Rock for the Atlanta Braves here at Riverfront Stadium this afternoon. And while in reflecting back on the game, Frank Pastore pretty much set the tone for the afternoon when he retired Miller, Royster, and Matthews in the top of the 1st. And then the Reds came out swinging against right-hander Phil Niekro in the bottom of the inning. After Niekro retired leadoff batter Dave Collins on a comebacker to the mound, Ken Griffey beat out an infield single to second. Dave Concepcion then looped a single into left center field. And George Foster lined a double into the corner in left field to make it 2-0. 2-0. Following a base on balls to Danny Dreesen, Johnny Bench doubled to left field, scoring Foster, making it 3-0. An intentional walk was then issued to Ray Knight to load him up. Junior Kennedy hit into a force play with a 4th run of the inning scoring before Pastore grounded out to end it. In the second, the Reds ballooned their lead to a count of 6-0. Collins led off and was struck out, but reached safely on a pass ball charged to Biff Pocoroba. Ken Griffey sacrificed Collins to second. Dave moved to third on a Concepcion ground out to the right side, and George Foster swatted the first homer of the 1980 season for the Reds, a shot over the wall and left off Niekro off a 3-2 pitch, and that sent the Reds out in front 6-0. The Reds came back in the third inning at the expense of right-hander Rick Camp. Ray Knight reached on a throwing error by Bob Horner. Junior Kennedy tripled down the right field line to make it 7-0. Frank Pastore, our star of the game, then had a single to center, making it 8-0. And then the Reds rounded out the scoring in the 7th inning against right-hander Preston Hanna when Johnny Bench led off with a walk, moved to second on a wild pitch, advanced to third on a line drive to deep right by Ray Knight, and scored on a sacrifice fly by Junior Kennedy to right field. That gave the Reds a 9-0 lead, and that's the way it ended up. On the pitching side, all Pastore allowed the Braves were 3 singles. Singles by Horner and Chambliss in the second, a base hit by Chambliss in the fourth, and then Pastore retired 16 straight down the stretch to become the first Reds pitcher to fire an opening day shutout since Johnny Vandermeer blanked the St. Louis Cardinals way back in 1943. The final score in that one was 1-0, and really it was an especially big day for Frank, as he pointed out to Joe on the Star of the Game show, because his dad was on hand to witness it. Frank, of course, was a last-minute starter because Tom Seaver was a sideline with a case of the flu, and, well, you simply cannot pitch any better than Pastore did here today. The Reds had 9 runs, 9 hits, no errors, and 7 left, the winning totals, while Atlanta had no runs, 3 hits, 2 errors, and they stranded 3. Pastore won it. Phil Niekro took the defeat. The two clubs will have an off day tomorrow and then get back at it with an 8:05 start on the game that has been designated opening night at Riverfront Stadium on Friday night, as Mike Lacasse, who won 14 last year, goes to the mound for the men of John McNamara, and Bobby Cox will counter with a left-hander by the name of Larry McWilliams. Plenty of seats available for Friday night and the 2 afternoon games Saturday and Sunday. If you can't be on hand, by all means join us along the Reds Baseball Network. We'll be on the air Friday night with the pregame shows on most of these same stations beginning at 7:35 Cincinnati time. Again, the final score today in a game that took 2 hours and 7 minutes to play before a crowd of 51,774. The Reds 9 and the Braves nothing.